Hi, I'm Alice Blackblade. I go by TKAlice on all of my socials. I mainly make Magic the Gathering lore TikTok content, as well as the occasional YouTube video about arena shenanigans, as well as going forward Korean history. So if you're into IRL lore, maybe check that out. But we're doing none of that today. Today, we're going to eat a spicy and talk about card. Now, what am I going to talk about? I'm going to be talking about a modern deck, 14 rack. And 14 rack hinges off of the namesake. The rack is a 1-drop artifact that says, at the end of target opponent's upkeep, the rack deals that player 1 damage for each card in his or her hand, fewer than 3. So to translate, it's dealing damage to you based on the amount of cards you do or do not have in your hand. If you're empty-handed, you're going to get bolted on your upkeep. If you have 3 cards in hand, you're safe. Don't worry about it. All right, now into the spicy. Here we go. This is a big pepper. All right. Down the hatch. So the deck, like I said, it's named after the card. The rack. The reason why it's called 14 rack is because every card that has a rack-like ability is going to be another instance of the rack. So the original build, 8 rack, has 4 copies of the rack and 4 copies of Shrieking Affliction. It's a 1-drop enchantment that will bolt you again based on the amount of cards you do or do not have in your hand. Same thing, just an enchantment. We have 2 planeswalkers with rack-like abilities. Liliana, Waker of the Dead. Oh, that swallow hurt. Wow, my mouth is attacking me. Alright, Liliana, Waker of the Dead. My life is flashing before my eyes. I can't read English. Liliana, her +1 ability will shock you. No, it's going to bolt you. Okay. It's a rack effect. I'm just going to leave it at that. It's a rack effect on her +1 ability, dealing damage cards. Wow. Gabrielle, it's getting hotter. How? This is a demon in my mouth. I'm shaking. Gabrielle Rogue Shadow Mage, his static effect is a rack effect. His only loyalty ability rips cards from your hand. Value down. The only card that I've really added that is a rack is Quest for the Nihil Stone. It is somehow getting hotter. Oh my. Oh. I love this. This is thrill. Quest for the Nihil Stone, 1-drop enchantment. A lot of text on it. Basically, if you discard a card, which will happen, let's face it, it's going to get a quest counter. If it's got 2 or more, that's 5 damage on your upkeep. That's a lot of damage. Also, I'm going to cry. So, those are all the rack effect cards. The rest of the spells are all things that are going to make you discard cards. Who would have thought? So, we have Stupor, which is discard 1 card that you choose. The other one gets left up to fate. It's at random. I love that. Wrench Mine, discard 2 cards unless you discard an artifact. I rarely see people put an artifact in their graveyard. So, 2 cards. Raven's Crime, probably the best discard spell. It's a 1-drop, 1 card, but it has retrace. So, my deck does not care if it floods out. That's fine. I'll just keep recurring that spell. Then we have Hand Disruption, classic Hand Disruption, in the form of Inquisition of Kozilek. And Thoughtseize. My mouth is producing a lot of saliva, just in case you wanted to know. So those are those spells. That's everything like that. There's also removal in here. We've got Fatal Push and Damn, as well as Dismember, just in case something ekes through the cracks. It happens. Sometimes we all mess up. Whatever. And then a bunch of different little fun cards that are in the main board. Ensnaring Bridge. If you didn't notice, this deck doesn't have a solid way of defending itself. So Ensnaring Bridge always floats its way to the top right when things are getting hairy. Love that. Best friend right there. Oh my gosh, the saliva is just coming out. Urza's Saga is in there. because if I can't find a rack by drawing it, it's going to hit the battlefield when this hits Chapter 3. Liliana of the Veil is a no-brainer for this deck. It definitely is not a budget card, but it's a good card. It doesn't target, so Leyline of Sanctity, get that out of here. We don't need her. Chirac Dread Cantor is a love letter from Modern Horizons 2 to this entire deck. It's a 2-drop black creature. Gets a +1/+1 whenever you discard a card. And you can kick him. Once you kick him, it's a Hymn to Chirac trigger when he enters the battlefield. That means 2 cards at random. How is the heat returning? It's like a wave of flame. The shores of hell are in my mouth right now. This is like a demon spell. Oh my god. Okay. Onto the sideboard. This is where I put in everything to deal with different situations, different scenarios that I can encounter. The most common one, people filling their hands with anything they can find. If you can fill your hand up, you're safe from damage, and then you can put something on the battlefield swinging for lethal. It's an effective strategy. Just like how effectively my mouth is being scorched. And my nose is running. Oh my gosh, it hurts to swallow. And I'm shaking. My body is scared of what's happening. Anyways, if you draw too many cards, Delirium Schemes will rip 3 cards from your hand. Both of our hands, to be fair, each player, but I don't care. I'll discard cards all day, boy. Underworld Dreams pings you if you draw cards. So good luck drawing cards. I hope that works out well for you. If you do discard a lot of cards because you can't or you're just willing to, Waste Not. Great recycling strategy. Good for the environment, good for my mental health, good for my board state. Yeah, I love it. It's beautiful. Then we have Ashiok Dream Render. Prevents you from searching your library, prevents you from comboing off. I love that. It also prevents your graveyard from not being in exile because it's going to be in exile now. So no Delirium, no graveyard shenanigans. We don't need that. We don't want that. For decks that are a little too fast, and have a little bit too much going on, I've got board wipes. I know this isn't Commander, but I'm still packing board wipes. I've got Damnation, Bantu's Last Reckoning, and Force of Despair to take care of that. And then for the strategy I see most often, which is Leyline of Sanctity, I have Feed the Swarm. It's enchantment removal in black. It's why black is the best color in Magic. I don't want to argue. It's just the truth. It takes care of Leyline of Sanctity, but if I don't see Feed the Swarm, I actually have things main board. Like the rack does not target, so if I get that out and I don't see a Feed the Swarm, that's fine, because when I cast the rack, I'm just picking a player to be affected by it. So, and Liliana, she doesn't target. Those two, they have my back no matter what. But Feed the Swarm is backup just in case. The rest of the sideboard are my pet cards. I'm gonna be honest with you right here. It's mono black. Black is my favorite color, so we're gonna put the pet cards in. Phyrexian Obliterator, no one wants to see that on the battlefield. Never. Not one time. It's in there. I'm having it in there. Dash Hopes. Dash Hopes is the card everybody wants to put in the mono black deck. And I'm one of those people. I did it. It's there. And that's the deck. Sideboard and all. Now I'm gonna have a milk. Ooh, I can feel my heart rate has increased to 113 beats per minute. I didn't expect my heart rate to come in tandem, and I'm still shaking. That's not nerves. Cat's alive. I'm alive. I made it. I did it. The deck is really fun. I recommend playing it. You don't have to play with all the expensive cards. It's still fun if you can just throw together some discard spells. It does work even though it's off meta. I won second place in my store's championship with this deck. I've top 8'd with this deck in Little Modern events, so it can perform. If you're interested, deck list will be linked below, as well as all my socials, and the link to everything related to this show will be down there. If you liked this show, please subscribe, like, share it. Tell me what you think of the deck in the comments. What's your favorite Modern deck? I want to know all of that. Yeah, I hope you enjoyed. That was crazy. Oh.